It's no secret that Elon Musk runs an absolutely punishing schedule. By his own account, somewhere in the 80 to 90-hour range, more than double what a typical full-time worker puts in. And that time gets sliced across a staggering number of projects: Tesla, SpaceX, and a rotating cast of other ventures. Add in the fact that, per Ashley Vance's biography, he also carves out serious time for his kids, and you've got one of the most chaotic, overloaded daily schedules of anyone alive. Now, we don't have a minute by minute logbook of his day the way we do for someone like Ben Franklin, but we do know the method he uses to wrangle all that chaos. Musk reportedly plans his entire day in advance, broken into roughly 5-minute increments. That technique is called timeboxing, and he's far from the only high output person who swears by it. Bill Gates has used it, and computer scientist Cal Newport built a whole productivity philosophy around a close cousin he calls time blocking. Whatever you call it, the core idea is the same. You assign a fixed chunk of time to each task you need to do, and you slot those chunks into your day in advance. I lean on this technique heavily in my own work, and because so many ridiculously productive people rely on it, today I want to break down exactly how to use it well, and just as importantly, how not to. So first, why bother? Why pre-schedule your whole day? I already hear the objection. Scheduling every minute turns you into a robot. Where's the spontaneity? And look, I get it. But this is the wrong way to frame it. Yes, planning your day means committing to a structure and having less totally open free time. But here's the thing people miss. Unstructured time is often where productivity goes to die. There's a principle called Parkinson's law. Work expands to fill the time allotted to it. Give yourself a vague, open afternoon to work on the report, and somehow the report devours the entire afternoon. Give yourself a defined 45-minute box, and you'll often finish it in 45 minutes. So, time boxing creates a useful constraint, and that constraint does two powerful things. First, it removes the constant low-grade decision of, okay, what should I do now? Because you already decided earlier when you had a clear head. And second, a hard time limit makes you focus intensely because you can feel the clock. For someone like Musk or Gates juggling 100 commitments, this isn't a nice to have. Without rigorous pre-planning, things would simply fall through the cracks. Okay, so how do you actually do it? There are two flavors, and the right one depends on your life. The lighter version, the one I personally default to, is what I'd call loose time boxing. I write out my daily plan on a whiteboard or a sheet of paper, and next to each task, I just jot down an estimate of how long it'll take. I don't pin it to specific clock times. I just say, this is a 20-minute task. Do it, and move to the next. If you're like me and don't have a rigid lattice of fixed appointments, this works beautifully. It also works if you're a student or employee with a few fixed blocks and some free space in between. The heavier version is calendar-based time boxing, where you assign actual start and stop times to each task on a real calendar. This is closer to how Cal Newport describes his time blocking. And if your day is already full of fixed commitments with gaps between them, classes, meetings, shifts, this is probably the better fit because you're scheduling work around fixed anchors. As for tools, you genuinely don't need anything fancy. Paper works. A plain calendar app works. There are dedicated time boxing apps too, but honestly, the tool matters far less than the habit, so start with whatever's already in front of you. Now, the single most important skill this whole technique depends on: estimating how long things take. And here's the bad news. You and I are both human, and humans are catastrophically bad at this. We're all subject to something called the planning fallacy, the systematic tendency to make wildly over-optimistic predictions about how long tasks will take. There's a famous set of studies on this, much of it run out of the University of Waterloo by Roger Buehler and colleagues. In one, they asked students to predict when they'd finish their psychology theses. The average prediction came out to about 34 days. The reality ran considerably longer. And the deeper finding is why. When people forecast, they rely on a best-case mental simulation of the specific task in front of them, even though similar tasks in the past have consistently run late. We instinctively ignore the past delays, the traffic, the interruptions, the things that always go wrong, and instead picture a clean run where everything goes perfectly. Sleep Foundation, Yahoo Finance. Think about your commute, somewhere in the back of your mind, that an average drive has traffic, a slow car ahead, a red light streak. But when you predict how long it'll take, you picture the magical empty road version. That same bug wrecks your time boxing. If every task estimate is wildly optimistic, you'll plan 12 things and finish 4, and feel like a failure for no good reason. So how do you fix it? 2 moves. The first is track your time. Use any time tracking app. You tell it what you're starting, hit go, hit stop when you're done. Do this for a couple of weeks and you build an actual record of how long things really take, which lets you see the gap between your fantasy estimates and reality. From there, you can start calibrating your brain toward honest numbers. This is the outside view, basing predictions on what actually happened before instead of the hopeful story in your head. The second move is break big tasks into small subtasks. Write the essay is impossible to estimate. Outline section 1. Draft the intro. Find 3 sources. Those are small, well-defined, and far easier to time accurately. As a bonus, a list of small concrete subtasks is way more action-oriented than one looming megatask. Now, the most legitimate objection to all of this: what about interruptions? What happens when life detonates your beautiful plan? And the answer comes from Dwight Eisenhower, who said something to the effect of, "Plans are worthless, but planning is everything." The plan itself is disposable. The act of planning is what's valuable. So when an interruption hits, you don't abandon the system, you revise. Cal Newport has a great mechanic for this. He divides his page into columns. Column 1 is the morning's original plan. When the day inevitably derails, he doesn't scribble over it. He just replans the rest of the day in the next column and continues. He also recommends deliberately scheduling reactionary blocks, chunks of time set aside specifically to absorb the unplanned stuff that surfaces during the day. So when a non-urgent thing pops up, it has a home to go to instead of blowing up your current task. The thing I'd add: don't get discouraged when you can't follow the plan perfectly. You won't. Life is unpredictable, and no productivity tactic works 100% of the time. That's not the system failing. That's just reality. Do your best to adapt in the moment, and then at the end of the day, look back. Was the thing that derailed you a recurring pattern you should plan around in the future, or a genuine one-off? That little review is how your planning gets smarter over time. And that brings me to the last and most crucial piece of advice. Do not overschedule your day. Yes, Musk crams 80+ hours into his week. But number 1, that man is an outlier of outliers. And number 2, and this is the part that matters for you and me, if you've got genuinely hard work on your plate, the kind that demands deep concentration and creativity, sometimes that's all you can meaningfully do in a day. Don't try to wedge demanding creative work into a 5-minute sliver between errands and admin. As the authors of The 4 Disciplines of Execution put it, the more you try to do, the less you actually accomplish. So use the focusing power that Timeboxing's constraints give you, but give your hard, important work the space it deserves. Protect it, and batch the mentally easy stuff, the emails, the admin, the busy work, into its own concentrated, low-energy block, instead of letting it nibble away at the hours your real work needs. That's timeboxing. Assign time to your tasks, get honest about your estimates by tracking reality, revise the plan when life interrupts instead of tossing it out, and above all, protect your deep work from your own ambition to overschedule. It's not about becoming a robot. It's about deciding in advance and with a clear head how to spend the most limited resource you've got. If this was helpful, a like genuinely supports the channel, and you can subscribe for a new video every week. There's a free copy of my book on earning better grades in the description too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.